Let's preview the matchup between our Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk Ravens with Yolanda. Today's video, we are going to discuss each player that makes up the offensive line. Good evening, Ravens flock. How are we doing on this Thursday evening? Wow, I wanted to say it's almost Friday, but no, we're not there just yet. Hope you all are doing well. It has been a busy week, but still a good week nonetheless, and I hope you all are having a great, productive week as well. I can't believe how fast this season is flying. Like I'm not ready to say we're almost at the midway point. We get so excited for football. And then when it comes and when it gets here, it just goes by so quickly. But at any rate, I want to just one more time thank everyone who has helped me, who supported me through this YouTube journey. We reached 1,000 subscribers earlier this week. So a huge thank you to all of you who come out and just support the channel. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot believe we're at 1,000 subscribers in just a short time. So thank you very much. I want to say hello to those who've already joined in the chat. I see you, B Squared. Yes, we live. We here. Don Royal, Zach Orr, better not let Jameis. I have my notes, because you all know I take notes, right? So I have my notes. We're going to talk about Zach Orr tonight. We're going to talk about him, and do not allow Jameis Winston and this to just carve out this defense. We got them on the list tonight. Agnes, good evening. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, it has to be a night for Bateman because of what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's start with the Browns offense. So since you brought it up, our defense going up against this Browns offense. Who would have thought, and you can let me know if you're watching live or if you're watching this on replay, going into this upcoming season, did you expect the Browns to be where they are? I did not. I thought the Browns were going to be better just because they had a healthy, and this is contingent upon if Deshaun Watson were healthy and he could kind of, be a version of his old self. But obviously we know that he is injured. He's out for the season. And last week, the Browns played the Bengals and backup quarterback DTR got injured. So that leaves Jameis Winston, you're up. The Browns they're averaging 15.6 points per game. They've not scored more than 18 points in any given game. Now, keep that in mind for when we go through at the very end, the score prediction. The Browns have not scored more than 18 points in one game, in any given game. They're absolutely dead last in the league in terms of third down conversions, which should be an advantage to us. Now, one thing that the Browns do pretty decently, pretty well, they pass the ball. They are not averaging so far in total in the last few games, since the start of the season, they have 1,313 passing yards to date. By contrast, rushing yards, not so much, 660. And one thing that we cannot do, as Don Royal came in firing on all cylinders, telling us we can't let Zach Orr and this defense get shredded by their passing game. We just can't. We cannot allow Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, and David Njoku. Those three are leading the charge in terms of passing yards, receiving yards. And one thing we have had a severe problem, a very obvious, notable problem, is defending against the pass. And each week I hope that we increase from being like last on the list, but we're just not seeing a significant improvement. And Dean Pease has now been with us for 2 weeks? Have you seen an improvement in our passing? Our ability to defend against the pass, our red zone defense is just atrocious. It really is. So what does that mean for our Ravens defense? Well, it means Our pass defense still looks horrible. We still look pretty bad. And one thing that kind of concerns me is our fourth quarter. No lead is safe going into the fourth quarter. We saw that last week where the Bucs tried to make a last-minute run and tried a last-minute push to try and, at least tie the game or win the game. So we don't get comfortable, or we cannot get comfortable with whatever lead Lamar Jackson and company are able to give us, because we know we cannot trust this defense, this very expensive defense that we have. They've just not been able to get the job done. Our secondary is still a question. Our safeties, who we're paying a lot of money, we invested a lot in resources into them. Eddie Jackson and Marcus Williams. I vote for, let's put Sanusi Kane out there. I say let's bring Bo Braid out there. Let's see what they can do. But this, like Don Royal said, Harbaugh, please have this team ready to play. This is a division rivalry game. And I don't care what their record is right now. Like I said, they lost the last 5 games. That's terrible. But one thing about AFC North teams, I don't count them out no matter how bad they look. No matter how bad they look. Because I don't want this to be the get right game for the Browns. I don't want them to take advantage of our inability to really defend against the pass. Now, I feel as though Jameis is not going to try to have his running backs run the ball all that much just because we are so good at stopping the run. I do, however, think that they're going to pass a lot. And if our secondary and our our linebackers can't really keep up with the tight ends and the ball handlers, the ball carriers, then we're going to have a long night. It's going to be a very long night for us. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. I'm tired of Lamar Jackson having to put on the Superman cape, wear that cape, because the defense is just really not getting it done. So that's what it means for our defense. In terms of our pass rush, we absolutely should be able to get Jameis Winston on the ground. There's no reason, no excuse. A third-string backup quarterback, if we can't get to Jameis Winston, we need to have an emergency live stream that night, like immediately right after the game. Don't even wait until 7 o'clock, my normal time. We need to have an emergency live stream. If our edge rushers cannot get Jameis Winston on the ground, that's a huge issue, huge problem. So with that said, I think that we have the upper hand. I think we do have the slight advantage there because it's Jameis Winston. But we cannot give him all day in the pocket. We've got to pressure him. We've got to continue to get pressure up the middle. Our edge rushers need to be able to put him on the ground. Odafe Owe, David. This would be a great day, a great game for David Ojabo. This would be a great day for him to record at least 1.5 sacks. Yeah, 1.5 for David Ojabo. Definitely 1 for Odafe Owe. But I see you, Don Royal. He said Max Crosby immediately. I did a video, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, days are running together. But I did a video yesterday and I said, what do we have, what's our biggest need right now? In terms of if we survey the entire team, what is our biggest need currently before the trade deadline? We just saw the Kansas City Chiefs went out there and addressed their deficiency at wide receiver. They bring in from the Titans, you all know who, right? Someone that I figured, I said, earlier in the season, I said, let's trade for Devontae Adams. Let's trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Let's trade for, earlier before he signed his monster contract, Justin Jefferson. Let's go get a premier star wide receiver. And that was primarily because I really didn't know how our wide receivers were going to respond outside of Zay Flowers. I was pretty confident that Zay Flowers was going to do great this year and have a big year, but I didn't know about Bateman. And last game against the Bucks, Bateman showed up. And we'll talk about the offense in just a bit. But our run defense, we have to take advantage of whenever they put their running backs on the field, whenever they put, they have Nick Chubb back. They do. And by all accounts, he's pretty healthy. So we have to be prepared to stop the run. And what did you guys think about the penalty? Or, I guess it was a penalty on Roquan Smith. And now the NFL is investigating whether that was, intentional or not. I watched it on the replay, and I feel sorry, and I feel really bad for the player that was injured. What was his name? Leave it in the chat. I can't remember his name from the Bucks, the wide receiver. Was it Chris Godwin? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was. But when he got injured, and horrible, awful. I don't wish injury on anyone. That's terrible. But one thing I can say is when I saw it on replay, I didn't think it was malicious. I didn't think it was that bad. But hey, the NFL is going to investigate, and we'll see what happens because, as a result of that. Jeff J., good evening. Thank you for being here. Finally able to catch a live stream. I hope you are recovering well. You are in my thoughts. You're in my prayers. Listen, stay in the fight, stay strong, and I'm glad you're here. Glad to see you. Tim Hughes, good evening. Hope everyone's having a good night. I think we'll cruise on this one, 38-7. Ooh. I don't know, Tim. I'm going to give you my score prediction in just a bit. I see you, Hendo, from the Rogue Pod. Thank you for joining. I don't know. Amari in Buffalo. Don Royal, Amari in Buffalo. Tell me what you mean by that. Double Myles Garrett. Oh, and then it says, Don Roll says, Harbaugh, please have this team ready. Yeah, definitely have the team ready. Jameis will throw interceptions. I think he can throw interceptions. I think he can, but that's only if we get enough pressure. That's only if we get if we can apply enough pressure. If not, then I don't think we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not going to count on it. But what I am going to count on, Amari Cooper was traded to Buffalo. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. I thought I read that, but then I looked at the stat sheet earlier today, and he's still in the depth chart for the Cleveland Browns. But yeah, Amari was traded. Thank you, Don. But I don't know that Jameis will throw interceptions, but what I can say I'm looking for this game from our defense, I want us to be able to create turnovers. That means Nate Wiggins, all of those dropped interceptions, right? I need to see, something and we know that Marlon went down last game, and it's not looking promising for him to return to this game. So that means who's going to have to step up? Arthur Maulet is now back. He's a full participant. That means, whoever we have in the depth chart, they're going to have to take over. So it'll be a tough one. So I don't know, Tim, necessarily if we're going to be able to blow them out 38-7. It would be nice. But because this is a division rival, I worry. I get a little nervous. About a blowout against a team that, absent the quarterback situation, which is, I think, what's really holding them back. Absent the quarterback situation, I think this is a team that can, it can turn the light switch on very quickly. David Hunt, good evening. I see you. Equip Institute, thank you for being here. And I'm going to put my little ticker on. If you are here and you have a YouTube channel, type in the word or exclamation point house, and then the Nightbot will drop the link to your channel. Moving on now to our offense. This is where I feel like we are so imbalanced right now. And I would have never thought I'd be saying this about our offense. We're so much better on offense than we are on defense right now. And that's just the truth. It's really the truth. So allowing our offense to continue to move the ball down the field with such ease as it has been doing. Ravens are the first team, I listened to some of the stats over the week, and Ravens are the first team in NFL history to average 250 passing yards per game and 200 rushing yards per game through the first 7 games. That's in all of league history. That's very impressive. It is. And I didn't think that we would be, just so excited and raving over our offense as much as we are and have as many concerns about our defense as we do. But, we all know that Derrick Henry is on pace to break the rushing yards record. He's something this year. And so for all of those who said that, Derrick Henry was old or he was washed and, he's showing you now we know what we're getting in him. So I'm very happy to have him paired up with Lamar Jackson. And one thing that we did here is we saw today, Keaton Mitchell, I think it was either today or yesterday, Keaton Mitchell came back. He returned to practice on a limited basis, and I hope we take our time with him. We're doing just fine without him right now. Let's take our time with him. He came back from a very serious injury. Let's not rush him. I don't want to have a setback because we will need him down the stretch and into the playoffs. So let's take our time. I'm very happy to welcome Keaton Mitchell back. And so is it, teammates are excited to have him back and everyone is elated because he's, back on the field. Wonderful. This is so good, right? But let's just, take our time. And whenever he does return, so that 21-day window is officially open. So we've got to activate him to the active roster within 21 days from, I think yesterday was the first day he came back. I don't expect him to play, certainly don't expect him to play this week. I hope he doesn't play next week. I hope he takes the entire 21 days before we activate him. That's what I would like to see. But, the Ravens kind of get, they go and do weird things sometimes. So that's it. So let me know. Are you guys happy to see Keaton Mitchell back? Yeah, I am. Very happy. Agnes says, yes, indeed. Yes. He was such a spark for us last year. His burst of speed, he was just, you couldn't slow him down. You talk about a great compliment. I know we have Justice Hill, and I appreciate Justice Hill's salute to him. He's doing great. But imagine having, like I said, down the stretch, later in the season, post-season, having Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry. It's just going to be great. Frank G. Life, thank you for being here. Good evening. Welcome. Yeah, the AFC North will be very interesting this weekend. It sure will. It sure will. This is an interesting weekend for the AFC North. So a lot's on the line, The Bengals are trying to start winning some games. Now, this is why I say you can't count AFC North teams out. The Bengals have started to win games. Or, they're going to try anyway. So, they were able to win last week against the Browns. And we know, I know we're leading the division right now, but anything can change at any moment. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving forward. And good things, are happening on our offense. One thing that is kind of a not so great thing about our offense this week, Zay Flowers. He is, he did not practice today. I don't think he did not practice yesterday with an injury. And it's probably going to be that he does not play this weekend, which I'm okay. I'm all for it. If he needs to rest, whatever he's dealing with, whatever his injury is, if he needs the extra time, let him have the extra time. Don't rush him back. Take your time because we need our number one wide receiver. So what does that mean? It means Rashad Bateman, you are no longer wide receiver number 2. You have now been forced or pushed into the wide receiver number 1 role for this upcoming game against the Browns. We need a big day from Rashad Bateman. He had a great game last week against the Bucks, and he came alive. I don't have his stats right in front of me, but we're going to need to see him. Nelson Aguilar, he's been a little quiet. He's been a little quiet the last couple of games. He has. But we really haven't needed him that much. Sure, it'd be nice if, we're in a third and long and we pass the ball to Nelson Aguilar that he can catch it. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. But If not, we need Bateman. We need him. But especially because, like I said, we're probably not going to have Zay Flowers this weekend. So that's kind of a little bummer, just because Zay is so fun to have on the field, such a spark for us. But one thing the Browns do, their defense, they're going to blitz a lot. They have the third highest blitz rate in the league at 39.6%, according to Next Gen Stats. And Jackson's record against the blitz is next level. He's second in the league, right behind Patrick Mahomes at 63.2 against the blitz. So highest of his career. He does very well. So I expect the Browns to come on defense. I expect them to come heavy with the blitz. I do. But Lamar Jackson can handle it. We're on the road. We're traveling to Cleveland, but Lamar Jackson can handle it. One thing about the Browns, they only have one interception all season. And Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett each have 4 sacks this season. They're going to be playing with a vengeance. They're going to want to try and get some interceptions in their secondary. They're going to want to obviously get to Lamar Jackson. So that's going to be a tough task for our O-line. Very tough to defend against, to continue to block against Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, who are very, very good. I say, and I heard you, Don Royal, earlier, bring in Max Crosby. I say, if we can bring in Zadarius Smith for cheaper, let's go get him. He's got 4 sacks already this season. Bring in a Myles Garrett. But I wouldn't be mad at bringing in a Max Crosby either. But let's table that, right? Let's table that to see how effective our edge rushers are this week against Jameis Winston. They have to be. They have to be solid this week. There's no excuse. So Garrett hasn't had a sack in the last 2 games. So we already know Myles Garrett's going to be on a tear. He's going to come, he's going to be on the prowl. And lining him up opposite of Ronnie Stanley and Roger Rosengard kind of scares me. But you've got Stanley on that side, so I think we'll be okay. We've just really got to be effective in defending against Myles Garrett's size, his speed, and his strength, his athleticism. He's quick, he's lightning fast, and he's strong. So let's keep our quarterback upright. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. Pass defense for them, in terms of the Browns' pass defense, they are not great. They're 27th in the league. So there's that. They are 107.1 rate allowed against wide receivers. Again, we don't have our number 1 wide receiver, but we do have Rashad Bateman, who hopefully will continue to show us, hey, don't worry, Zay, take your week off. I got it. I can hold down the fort. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to take a few comments, and then we'll move right into our score prediction, because at 8 o'clock, I don't know why the Wired is coming on tonight, but for some reason, Ravens Wired starts at 8 o'clock. So let's take a few comments, give our score predictions, and let me know, what you guys think of this upcoming game. All right, so I see Don Royal says the Eagles are beating the Bengals this weekend. The Eagles have been looking shaky. They have been looking very shaky. I try to keep my eyes on other teams to the extent that we play them, but otherwise I can't keep up with all 32, but just the little that I know about the Eagles this year, they haven't been looking very good, but hopefully they can beat the Bengals. Hopefully. Tez Walker touchdown Sunday. Do you think Tez Walker is going to play at wide receiver? Not special team. Do you think he's going to play? I've been waiting for that. Every week I'm like, okay, is Tez going to play? Are we going to see Tez Walker? That'd be great if he does. Rashad is playing very well past couple of games. He can do it. He's going to have to, Agnes. He's going to have to. Yep. He absolutely is. I mean, I didn't mention our tight ends, and we still are solid there. We have, Isaiah Likely, who's really stepping up. Mark Andrews had a big game last week. So we have other ball carriers that can kind of get us across the finish line. But yes, not having Zay Flowers this upcoming week, if that's to be, is going to be a huge loss for us. Frank G. Life says, put the Browns away early because their crowd will boo them out of the building. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, their crowd just, I think it was more of their crowd was not very happy with the whole Deshaun Watson trade, bringing him in. And then I think that's panning out to be the worst deal in all of NFL history. That's what I'm thinking. And if I were a Browns fan, thank goodness I'm not. But if I were, I'd probably be mad and boo them too. Like, what are you guys doing in the front office? That's horrible. But yeah, I agree with you. We got to put them away early. And again, I said earlier in the show, no lead is safe. No lead is safe. Why? Because we know that our defense right now, hopefully we're going to get better, but right now we are just not well equipped to maintain or defend a lead that the Ravens offense are able to give us. Mary Lou, thank you so much for joining. I got a chance to meet Mary Lou and David Hunt in person last week at Creator Camp. I've been to one and only one NFL game, and it was a Ravens game. Really? Oh, Mary Lou, that's awesome. That's great. Well, hopefully you'll get to go to another one whenever the Ravens travel out to the West Coast to play the, one of the LA teams. Then hopefully you'll, if you are wanting to catch one of the Ravens games, that'd be great. Quickly, before we get out of here, drop your score prediction in the chat. This week, who wins Ravens versus the Browns? And I'll tell you mine. I don't think it's going to be like Tim mentioned. He thinks it's going to be a pretty big blowout. I don't think so, just because even though the Browns have not been doing a very good job, they're not able to put up more than 18 points. I don't expect them to put up more than 18 points this game either, especially with Jameis Winston at the helm. So I will go my score. Hey, Rave Kingdom, thank you for joining. Let me know your score prediction. I'm going to say Ravens 31, Browns 18. Browns 18. Okay. I'm going to stick to that. 31-18. But I'd like to see it less than 18 points, but I do think they're going to be able to at least get 18 points. Or I think that's that's about right. If they score less than 18, I'll be even happier. Frank G. Life says 21-10 Ravens. This will not be an easy game. I agree. This is not an easy game. You've got to earn every second of this game. For this win, you've got to put your best foot forward. This is a division game. David Hunt says 42-10. 42 against Myles Garrett. Zadarius Smith. I mean, we can do it. We certainly can. Jerry Green, good evening. He says, yes, as a UNC Tar Heels fan, I want to see Tez Walker. I've been wanting to see Tez, but we just haven't. I mean, I've wanted to see him too. Okay, so Jared, 15-36. Who are you taking? Who's winning this one? Is it going to be the Ravens at 36? Rave Kingdom, he says 26-14 Ravens. Okay. All right. I can see it. Frank G. Life said Ravens don't blow out bad teams in the NFL. Good point. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for us, but we'll come out with the win. And before I go, last thing, do not allow the Ravens to get on their bus and their plane without taking one of the edge rushers from the Browns with them. Bring with them Zadarius or Myles, because I don't know. I heard Myles Garrett, the Browns are entertaining conversations about trade offers for Myles Garrett. We don't want Myles Garrett going to a team that's already stacked and is just maybe missing one piece. And now Myles Garrett is just the missing link to a team that can just come out and just overwhelm our offense. So let's go get Myles or Zadarius, but do something, make it happen. Jared said Ravens, of course. Okay, he's taking the Ravens. Mitchell Estates, 38-0. Wait, I know I said I was going, and I promise I am in just a minute. Mitchell, 38. We're going to shut them out? We're going to shut out the Browns at home? If we do, I hope you come back to the post-game show so that I can say, Mitchell called it. He called a shutout, and we did just that. I don't know that we're going to do it, but we'll see. Jeff J says 27-17. Okay. There you have it. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining. It's been awesome just chatting with you. And thanks, Don Royal, again, for reminding me that, yes, Amari Cooper did get traded to Buffalo. But I still think even in the absence of Amari Cooper, they still have a very strong, passing game. So we need to be not worried, but we need to put in our pocket or our minds that we have to defend against the pass, because that's where I see that this team is going to lean heavily going into this game. They don't run a whole lot, and they haven't been very successful running the ball, even with Nick Chubb back. So their offense is going to rely heavily on Jameis Winston's ability to connect with his receivers. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. I will see you all very, very soon. Make sure to come back on Sunday during halftime, where I do my halftime check-in and we just run down really quickly how we're doing, what do we need to improve. And one more thing, no, we can't fumble the ball, but no blunders by our coach. Coach Harbaugh, he needs to have an excellent game. Monken is doing great in terms of his ability to call good games. Zach Orr, we need you to step up and get this defense ready. Otherwise, I think we're all set. I will see you all very soon. Until the next time, you take care, stay safe, and always remember, go Ravens. God bless.